This video will introduce the special features of the Antaira managed switch, as well as cover the installation of the switch based on firmware version 6.2. Let's introduce the special features of managed switch. A managed switch offers enhanced features and flexibility compared to an unmanaged switch, making it ideal for network environments that demand precise control and monitoring. It enables network administrators to configure various network parameters, such as VLANs, STP, LACP, and ERPS, ensuring a tailored and optimized network setup. Additionally, managed switches support remote management through web interfaces, command line interfaces, CLI, and SNMP, facilitating easy administration from any location. They also provide high scalability and flexibility, allowing administrators to expand the network topology according to evolving needs, ensuring that the network can grow and adapt as required. Data redundancy is a key feature of managed switches, supporting redundancy configurations such as STP and RSTP, as well as link aggregation. These capabilities enhance the reliability and fault tolerance of the network by preventing disruptions caused by single points of failure. Additionally, managed switches facilitate firmware updates and security patch management, ensuring that the network remains up-to-date and protected against emerging threats. For ongoing management feature, the Antaira Network Management System, NMS, provides a web-based platform that enables administrators to remotely monitor and manage connected devices on the LAN, streamlining network administration and oversight. The Antaira managed switch includes several types such as Fast Ethernet, Gigabit, 10 Gigabit, M12, rack mount, and compact size switches. The next section will be introducing the installation of Antaira switch. When you unbox the product, you will find a switch, serial console cable, a wall mounting kit with screws, and a DIN rail kit on the switch. The next step is to select a suitable power supply for booting up the switch. We can check the switch's specification label. In this example, the power input specifies the voltage range that the switch can accept, which is from 12 volts to 48 volts of direct current, DC. The device can operate within any voltage value within this range. The maximum amperage indicates the maximum current requirement of the device, which is 3.5 amperes. This is the highest amount of current the device may draw during operation. Given the power input specifications for the switch, we can calculate the maximum power that the switch can handle and, consequently, ensure that you are providing adequate power. When choosing a low-voltage industrial power supply, the minimum power budget required can be calculated by multiplying 12 volts by 3.5 amperes, which equals 42 watts. The industrial power supply model HDR-60-24 is an example that meets the requirement. To connect the power supply to the switch, you need to insert the positive and negative power wires into the power 1 and power 2 contacts on the terminal block and tighten the wire clamp screws to secure the wires in place. The following is a live demonstration. Step 1. Loosen the wire clamp screws and insert the negative power wires for power 1. Step 2. Tighten the screws. Repeat these steps for the positive power wires and power 2. After connecting the power supply, let's get to know more about the switch interface. Firstly, the 6-pin removable terminal block we just plugged in provides power to the switch with redundant power supply. Secondly, there are 5 LED indicators that reflect the status of the switch. When the P1 and P2 lights are on, it indicates that the power inputs are active respectively. When the system is ready and functioning properly, the status LED indicator will light green. A red light indicates the opposite. Under ERPS configuration, The master LED indicator will be on if the owner mode is active, and the ring LED indicator will stay on when the ring network is active. Additionally, there is an RS-232 to RJ45 console port, a USB 2.0 port, several Ethernet ports, and SFP ports. Antaira Ethernet switches support CLI management. You can use either the console or Telnet to manage the switch via CLI. Before configuring the RS-232 serial console, connect the DB9 connector to the COM port on your computer and the RJ45 end to the console port of the switch. Afterward, make sure you have downloaded a terminal program, such as PuTTY or TerraTerm. In this video, we will use TerraTerm for the demonstration. After downloading TerraTerm to your computer, launch the application. When TerraTerm starts, a window will appear prompting you to select a connection type. Choose Serial. Next, click on Setup and then Serial Port. To configure parameters such as baud rate, data bits, parity, and stop bits according to the requirements listed beside. Finally, click New Setting to establish the connection. When the serial connection has been set up, users can enter the switch console using the default username and password, which are both set to admin. After logging into the switch console, users can enter the command show interface brief to determine the IP address of the switch. Users are advised to change the IP address from the default to avoid IP conflicts. In this example, we will change the IP address to 192.168.1.100. Users are also advised to save the configuration to the startup config so that the configuration remains intact after a reboot. Input the command reload cold to reboot the switch. After rebooting, you will need to log in again. Users can enter the command show interface brief again to determine the IP address of the switch. You will find that the IP address we just changed remains the same. When the user attempts to reboot the device to factory defaults, input the command reload default. Check the IP address again, and you will see that the IP address has reverted back to the default address. Another method to manage the switch is through the web interface. Use a Cat5e or higher network cable to connect your computer to the switch. Ensure that both the computer and the switch are on the same network segment. Open a web browser on your computer and enter by the switch's IP address. Let's start a live demonstration by connecting the network cable to the switch. And open a web browser to access the switch's web interface using the default IP address 192.168.1.254. Then log in by the default username and password, which are both set to admin. Users can find information such as the switch's MAC address, serial number, and firmware version under the model name. Additionally, the control panel can be divided into 3 commonly used sections. Users can adjust all settings via the Configuration tab, determine the current settings of the switch in the Monitoring tab, and perform maintenance tasks such as resetting, rebooting, and saving the current configuration in the Maintenance tab. Regarding the basic configuration of the switch, firstly, to change the IP address in the web interface, the user can navigate to Configuration System IP, input the IP address 192.168.1.100 and click the Apply button. Afterwards, relog in again by the new IP address. Secondly, to save the current configuration to the startup configuration, navigate to Maintenance. Configuration, Save Startup Config, and click the Save Configuration button. Third, under Maintenance, the Restart Device tab can be used to reboot the switch by clicking the Yes button under the confirmation message. Last but not least, To reset the switch to factory defaults, navigate to Maintenance, Factory Defaults, and click the Yes button under the confirmation message. Before doing so, the user can choose whether to keep the current IP and login information by checking or unchecking the relevant box. This is the end of the video. Thank you for watching.